So tell me about Grandmother's Buttons.
Well, we began in 1985, moved to the small town where I grew up, needed to make a living and couldn't do what I'd been doing. So I visited with my grandmother, who was 95 and had 30 boxes of buttons.
Wow.
And we looked at them and I said, you know, Grandma, these look like earrings. They make great earrings. And since then, you know, we sell in Japan, we sell in New Zealand, we sell all across the United States. We have about 800 active accounts in the United States right now.
Well, your stuff is beautiful. What's the retail point for some of your pieces?
The retail, earrings that are just beaded that match the antique buttons, they start at about $16 retail.
Oh.
And then most of our antique button necklaces are between $46 and $80 retail.
Wow.
And bracelets about the same. Some of the watches go above $100. But the buttons actually date from the 1880s and 90s, really the broad range, 1870 to 1910. And everybody says, well, where do you find so many buttons? Buttons are like any antique. They kind of exist in a collector's world. And we know, I think, more button collectors than anybody else in the world.
And they're willing to part with some of those beautiful pieces that I've seen?
Well,
the beautiful buttons?
The buttons we use are small. They're about ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch.
Okay.
They're not so much the ones the collectors are interested in.
Yeah.
They want the gorgeous big jeweled buttons or the picture buttons or the hand-carved buttons or hand-painted too, enamel.
Wow.
So these were small, you know, everyday buttons at the time, but even at the time they were like little pieces of jewelry sewn onto the clothing.
Amazing.
And we've brought some, you can show in a bit some of the little
show me
dresses.
right now if you want.
Yeah, like here's a typical 1890s dress, the top of a dress with the Victorian buttons in them. And look at the detail that has hand-carved pearl, brass, and cut steel.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful buttons.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Look how tiny the people were.
I know. Not like us today. And I know some of your pieces look very much like heirloom pieces. I mean, it's not even the fact that the buttons are vintage, but they look so gorgeous. Tell me more about the detail that goes into the styling of.
Well, I've through the years, I've researched a lot of old jewelry findings, and so we are able to source stampings that are made in dies that were carved in like the 1920s or earlier sometimes. And so they're still made today, but they're in the vintage dies, and we construct most of our necklaces and bracelets using those stampings. In a few other cases, we've had castings made for us that fit the buttons, and so we've really worked hard to have pieces that look vintage, but have something a little like what I have on. Vintage elements, but the styling is not, you know, exactly Victorian or anything like that.
Okay. And what are some of the retail stores, like in New York or just in the U.S. in general? Yes.
Well, we sell mainly to very small mom and pop galleries and boutiques.
Okay.
We have sold to Anthropologie online.
Nice.
We've sold to catalogs like Signals. We sell to a lot of museum stores.
I can imagine.
Through the years to the Smithsonian and places like that too.
Wow.
So, but really the specialty boutiques are our main business.
And what's your website? Can people buy off of your website?
Yes, www.grandmothersbuttons.com.
Okay, great.
And come take a look.
Thank you so much.